You're watching Internship 201, all you need to know to be a successful intern. Hi, I'm Heather LaPearl, Campus Internship Coordinator in Career Services at San Diego State University. To get credit for watching this video, click on the survey link below in the description box. Your completed survey will give you credit, and if you complete all 3 internship workshops, Internship 101, 201, and 301, then you will be eligible for a professional development gift. In Internship 101, you'll learn about what is an internship, what is the importance of networking, what characteristics should you be looking for in an internship, and red flags to look out for, as well as internship resources that will help you find an internship. In Internship 201, you're going to learn about how to have a successful internship search, how to use Aztec Career Connection and other search sites to find internship opportunities, as well as finding out what employers are looking for in an intern, and how to be successful while interning. In Internship 301, we're going to talk about how you leverage your internship experience to get to your next step, whether that's another internship, a job, grad school, how to be able to talk about your internship experience, how to stay connected, and how to show what you did and how you grew from that experience.
Everything that you learn from the classroom, you can apply it into the internships that you're doing, but then also once you do the internship and gain that knowledge from that hands-on experience, then you can talk about it in your classrooms and kind of connect it with what you've been learning and talking about.
Ultimately, we're going to spend a lot of time working in our lives, and we want to be happy in our lives. So it's a good time for students to get introduced and explore.
There is research that shows 66% of employers first reach out and post their opportunities through career centers because they know that students have access and that those listings will only be viewed by current students and alumni. One of the first ways we recommend students to search for internships is by going through Aztec Career Connection. You can go to your account by logging in to career.sdsu.edu and then clicking on students. You'll see that there's a red box that explains the login process. It'll take you to where you can enter in your SDSU ID and your password. Since I'm not a student, I don't have that login, so I've logged in already as my sample student. You'll see on here that the home page has a lot of information for you. When you first open Aztec Career Connection, there's many options here on the left-hand side. What I want to point out before we get to how to find jobs and internships are 2 things that I want you to make sure you check at least once a semester. The first is your profile. When you click on profile, this is going to show you the information that we have in the system. Some of this was automatically imported from your SDSU account, but some of it are things that you need to make sure that you update. If you've changed your major since we did our import of your information, you're going to want to make sure that you change that. And you can do that by clicking on this little pencil. It's going to take you into where you can click on where your degree is, but you can go in and you can change your major. Let's say I'm still business, but I'm actually looking to change my major to marketing. I can click on marketing and then save, and that's going to show me marketing. I'm going to X out of finance to take that off, and now my major is listed as marketing. Your major is one thing that we want to make sure you're always updating, but the other part is your graduation date. Your graduation date is one of the most important things to employers because while you could be a junior or a senior level, that doesn't tell them when you're actually going to be finishing and be able to start a full-time position. Students typically find that when they're going through the application process through Aztec Career Connection, they're not able to apply, which I'll show you an example in just a minute. And a lot of times it's because their graduation year does not match up to what the employer is looking for. Once I've made sure my profile is up to date, I'm going to go ahead and click save. There's other areas in the profile section that you are able to add information to, but for our purposes and for applying, this education section is the most important to make sure it is updated. Creating a resume that shows employers all of your skills, qualities, and experiences is extremely important during the internship search process. We can explain more of this to you during our resume workshops that are offered multiple times throughout the semester, as well as during Fast 15 walk-ins. You will want to make sure that under documents, you have in your approved section different resumes as well as cover letters or any other information you may need to be sending to employers. But your resume is the most important. As you'll see in my record, I have a couple different resumes that are in here as well as a cover letter. I have some references. You may also be asked for a transcript to be uploaded or even a writing sample. But most commonly, it's your resume and a cover letter. I can set any of my resumes as my default. Let's say I have my resume as my default right now, but I really want to use my John Smith resume. I can just click Make Default and it will change that to my default resume, which means it's the first one to come up anytime I apply. You can also view as a PDF or delete any old resumes that you are not using. I'll show you when we go in and actually apply how you can upload any kind of resume that you would like at that point. Next, we're going to move to events. You can see any days we're having the career fairs. You can see information sessions, which are basically times when we have employers come onto campus and explain to you who they are and what they are looking for their internship or job positions. So you'll definitely want to check that out. It's a great time to network and learn about new companies or companies that you want to work for. And we also have tons of workshops throughout the year. The workshops are not required for you to RSVP. Any of our events you can just attend without RSVPing. However, I personally recommend it because for me, I like to get an email reminder, which you will get if you RSVP, as well as you can add it to your calendar. Now we're going to cover how to search for jobs and internships through Aztec Career Connection. Click on Aztec Career Connection. This is going to take you to all of our jobs and internship postings. Most of these are off campus, but some of them can be on campus. When you go in here first, you'll see different jobs that you can apply for. Now, most students will go ahead and type something here in this search bar, but my recommendation is you click on this advanced search functions. Why? Because it gives you a lot more options to really specify what you're looking for in a job or an internship. A couple things that students really like. This first one is finding a job that's located within a certain number of miles of a zip code. Now, this is helpful if maybe you don't have your own transportation and you want to make sure it's somewhere that you can get to from a trolley or a bus line. Or you may be wanting to go home for the summer and looking for a job that's within a different zip code or a different area. You also can look for nationwide jobs. This section right here, industry, is one of the ones that I recommend that you do use. Also, the position type. You can definitely click on internship. Now, do note that employers are the ones who choose which type of position type they select. So you can select internship, but an employer may consider their position a part-time job, even though it has internship type work. You can always start with internship, and if you're not seeing as much as you thought, then you can add part-time as well. Some of you may be interested in finding research positions. This is a great way to do that. And if you're looking for a specific type of research area, you can go ahead and select that here. For our example right now, I'm going to just select internship, and I'm open to seeing just all kinds of internships that are available. And I'm going to click on search. You're going to see that this is going to change the listings. You'll see that some of these postings have a little box that say campus interview. This means the employer not only is posting their position, but they will also be conducting on-campus interviews for applicants that get selected. That's something that you can follow up with the employer on, and you'll also see more information on the posting. As we scroll through, let's take a look at one of these positions that I'm interested in. Right here, I see a winter summer internship program. That sounds interesting to me. So I'm going to click on it. It's going to show me the employer. And if I'm interested in this employer, I can actually click on follow. And then that means anytime this employer posts something or maybe is coming to an event on campus, I'm going to be notified through my Aztec Career Connection. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look. I'm going to read through the description. Everything on here looks really good for me. I'm going to take a look at the qualifications. Now down here under salary level, sometimes you'll see competitive. That means that it is a paid position, but the employer is not disclosing what the level of pay is. You may see internships where it has an actual dollar amount, or it may say that it is unpaid, which means that you will not be earning minimum wage per hour worked and will need to enroll in an internship course. You'll also see under here that there are similar positions that Aztec Career Connection has identified based on my search. Just like when you go onto Amazon, it'll give you some suggestions based on your previous search histories. So let's say I'm looking and I say, oh, actually, this tax internship looks really interesting too. I could click on that and it'll take me directly to that posting. Now, I may not have time right now to look at this, or I may want to take some time to think about applying for this position, doing some research on the company. So I'm not going to apply right now. So what I would want to do is click this star. When I click this star button, it's actually going to add this position. If I go back out to that home search page, it's going to add it under my favorite section. So when I click under my favorites, it's going to have saved positions that I was interested in. Now, please note that if a position has closed its application process, it will no longer show up on your favorite section. So if you are using this function, I recommend that you check it frequently. I'm going to go ahead and click on this position that I forgot that I had been interested in previously. It definitely looks like something I would be interested in applying for. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this apply button. Now I'm going to be prompted to enter the documents that this employer is requesting. So resume. I had showed you that previously. You'll see that my other resumes are also listed on here. So I'm actually going to use my SDS resume for this one, or let's say I've been working on one on my laptop, I could actually go in and choose a file and upload a whole new resume if I needed to do that. At this point though, I'm going to use my SDS. My cover letter, I'm going to go ahead and use that cover letter as well. And I'm also going to enter in a transcript. But wait, I forgot to do that. So in this case, I would need to go ahead and add a new document. You can also add in any notes. Now, one thing about adding notes is that this is not a required section, as you can see right here. I really point this out to you because anything you submit to an employer that is not required is something that you're asking them to review and judge you by. So if you are not required to enter notes and you enter notes, putting that in there could be a positive, a negative, or even something indifferent. So I leave it up to you. My recommendation is to leave that area blank. If I go to submit, you'll notice that it's going to tell me I do not have my transcripts attached. So that's one good thing, is it'll let you know what you have not yet included, and it won't let you move forward. I can come back later if I wanted to because it's in my favorites. Sometimes when you find a position, you're going to see this not qualified button that's listed. You'll notice that the apply button is not listed. And when I go down to the application section, it's going to tell me why I can't apply. In this case, it's because my major is not among those that the employer is looking for this position. So when I go ahead and I look through the qualifications though, I thought that this was a position that I qualified for. One thing would be to go back and look at what majors this position is actually looking for. So when I look over here, it looks like this position is actually looking for an international business student. But if I had looked at this position and let's say it said that I needed a marketing major, but I am a marketing major and I've checked my profile and that's what I'm listed as, feel free to come into the career resource room anytime between 8 and 4:30 Monday through Friday, or give us a call and we can help you figure out why you're not being able to apply for that position. This is an example of a position that is unpaid. So you'll see that 0 is listed for the salary level, and you would need to enroll in an internship course if you were going to take this internship. The last thing I want to make sure you see is that it's going to have on here when the position was posted and when you're going to be able to turn your application in by. So it's really important that if you are putting any of these positions in your favorite section, make sure you note that date. There's another way for you to find recommended jobs as well. When you go back out here, you can click on recommended jobs and you'll be able to see that are recommended based on your profile and also your previous searches. Additionally, just to note that if you are looking for an on-campus part-time job, you can also look through Aztec shops or associated students. If you have federal work study, there's a link here as well. Another way to find jobs or internships is through LinkedIn. They now have specific links. Here is the link that'll take you out to LinkedIn jobs, but we also have a link for LinkedIn internships on our internships.stsu.edu page for search websites. Make sure that if you're ever having problems problems or issues, or you're confused on how to best use Aztec Career Connection for your internship or job search, that you come and visit us in the Career Resource Room. Again, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 to help you. There are many types of internships you will see during your search. Some will be paid and you could get academic credit for them, and some will be unpaid and you must earn academic credit, which means you need to enroll in an internship course. In order to find out what course you should enroll in, you need to reach out to your department internship contact. Career Services maintains a current list of all department internship contacts at internships.sdsu.edu. On this page, you're going to find contact information for the department internship contact in your major. If you don't see your major listed, feel free to reach out to the campus internship coordinator.
Meeting with your internship department contact to see if maybe they might have some leads for you.
The best way to access Glassdoor is by scrolling to the bottom of career.sdsu.edu and clicking on the little green box that says Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a website that I recommend you look at to check out companies, to learn more about them, their company culture, and get possible tips on interviewing, salary, and other information that you may not have if you don't know someone who works there.
A great way to start is through the job search sites that you can find online. Career Services has a page that has great links that students can start out and do their search from.
I used Aztec Career Connection, which was really great to use just because you can really narrow down your searches as far as what you're looking for specifically. And so that's how I landed my first internship. And then my current internship, I worked with my internship coordinator from my department specifically, and she helped me connect with the director of the organization that I'm currently interning at, and that's how I interviewed and am currently interning there.
I've gotten my internship through my mentor.
usajobs.com. Every government internship job opening is on usajobs.com.
I found it through one of my mentors. She knew about the position and she emailed me about it.
So the internship that I did over the summer with 3M, I found it through joining an on-campus organization. And the second internship that I did with Walmanisa here in San Diego, the marketing manager that I worked for is also an alumni of San Diego State. He put me in touch through a friend of mine who is also a student at San Diego State because they were looking to fill a marketing internship role.
The power of networking. I applied to a gajillion internships, but all the internship offers that I received for the summer was from an informational interview or someone had my resume and then passed it along. So both internships were from referrals.
One thing that students underestimate is the power of their network. Your network contains more people than you think it does. It not only contains the supervisors and bosses that you may have already had, but it contains your professors. They're great people to get to know for many reasons, including the fact that they can be references for you in the future. Any mentors that you may have had, as well as your friends and family, your peers, students that you know from class, but also through student organizations and involvement.
One of the things that I love about peer networking, I think our kind of challenge to this is to figure out ways to get involved with different things that you're not connected with. So if you're a business major, have a friend who's a science major, engineering major, or something else. What I've realized as I've gotten older, there's skill sets I definitely don't have. But if I had people who I knew who had those skill sets or who have those type of relationships, it can just help you in life when you need to go further. I didn't even realize the power of the peer network until I graduated. And I just started to see my friends go off into a lot of different companies. And because I've had those relationships with people have asked me to come and be like speakers for them or come work on different things. It's just amazing because you never know who in your class or who is in school with you and what they're going to do.
The networking aspect of searching for an internship is very important. A lot of students think, oh, social networking, behind a box, behind a computer. And I tell them, no, networking, the old school way. Get out from behind the box, meet face-to-face with people, do informational interviews.
And that would be where you will sit down one-on-one with that person and just ask them, what's your job like? What do you do? Where did you go to school? How did you get into this position? What's the company culture like? What could I expect if I wanted to work here? things of that nature. And it's a really good way to learn more about the company and build those connections.
Job shadows. Follow up with people who come and speak in your class. Connect through professional networks. It's absolutely vital for people to get to know you as a human, get to know you as a person, if you want them to be willing to work with you and alongside you.
You can't stress enough the networking. Networking is such a huge piece. If you can network with people from companies and industry leaders, do it. I can't stress it enough. They will provide you some great guidance. The more recruiters and the more people within the companies that you know, even if you're applying for a position right now and not with them, it really benefits you, because when it does come time, if you've made those connections, it makes it a lot easier for you to get in there. We're in the business and we want to prepare you. You know, one day we may want to hire you. So it's beneficial for us to invest in you. So for that reason, don't be afraid to do that networking.
Networking is huge, and I think it's very important to learn how to network properly as early as you can. So networking is obviously something that's awkward for some people, but the more you do it, the more confident you are when you're doing it. So personally, networking was how I've gotten all my jobs, internships, different opportunities on and off campus. So networking doesn't just mean meeting the people next to you, it's how can the person next to you introduce you to their friend who lives somewhere outside of California or San Diego, because the real opportunities are where you can't necessarily see them. So it's important when you're in college to build your network, because once you graduate, you're not going to have the opportunity to meet as many people in the surrounding areas as you are when you're here at San Diego State.
You never know who knows who. And as the saying goes, if you're not networking, you're not working. So get out there and figure out who's in your network.
Getting involved is incredible. I think that is one of the greatest ways you can get internships as well, just because you meet people, you know people, and some opportunities are just heard by word of mouth. And so I think involvement is incredible for the amount of ways it can grow your network, but even more so what it prepares you to do. Getting involved for me meant learning how to network better, understanding different ideas or different thoughts, if it was an international business society, a different cultural org. It puts you in different places where you're just learning constantly, because you realize as much as learning inside the classroom is important, there's so much more weight to things outside the classroom as well. And if you can kind of be at the nexus of both of those, you can see how your education plus experience can really propel you to have a successful career.
One thing that can make you stand out from somebody else is the extracurricular activities that you participate in, the student organizations you're involved with, the volunteer work that you do, the extracurricular intramural sports that you play. I think it all plays a really big role. It allows us to see that you're able to multitask, juggle multiple things. It also allows us to see that you are involved and you want to be involved and driven.
The way I found out about my student work was through one of my professors. He got me in contact with other clubs and organizations, and then later on he got me in contact with professors or just with awesome recruiters. Some of the orgs are actually national, so there could be a parent chapter in San Diego.
Get a mentor when you're freshmen or sophomores to get involved on campus, and then the juniors or seniors in that organization that you're interested in will be more than likely happy to mentor you.
Clubs and different types of societies that network ideally around their profession, but that network with other students, promote communication and leadership. Those are again things that set candidates apart. So much like work experience, the experience with other organizations on campus here is really a differentiator. So we view those very positively.
During the internship search process, it's really important that you have an active LinkedIn account. Many employers are not only using LinkedIn as a way to check applicants, but they're also using it as a way to directly recruit students. So it's really important that you have all your current information listed on your LinkedIn. You can come in and have a career counselor give you some feedback on your LinkedIn account by going to a Fast 15.
So I actually currently started using LinkedIn because of career services. I came up with my profile and I updated everything in terms of my work experience, my education experience.
I also really recommend getting a LinkedIn, either if you're for an internship or if you're not, just because sometimes people can reach out to you and tell you hey, we have this internship. Interested. I usually try to reach out to people as well, through LinkedIn or people that work for the company. and it works. Usually they apply.
Your sophomore year, junior year, start working on developing contacts.
The number one thing that students often underestimate when it comes to networking is the power of the Aztec connections. At any one point, there are 30,000 plus students on this campus, and eventually they all go somewhere. And that network is huge. 60 to 70% of those students stay within San Diego and Orange counties. And so I always recommend to students, get an awesome LinkedIn profile. Then, through LinkedIn, reach out to the companies that you want to work at and click on all of their employees and figure out who is an Aztec. I've got to tell you, there's always an Aztec in the building. They may not be in your department, they may not be in your specific field, but they're more likely to be open to that cold email introduction when you go through LinkedIn and say, hey, my name is Nicole Vargas. I'm a graduating senior at San Diego State and I'm really interested in working at your company. Any chance you'd be willing to chat by phone or do an informational interview? If they're another Aztec, they know what it's like to be in your seat. They know what it's like to stand in your shoes, and they're more likely to be willing to connect with you.
Internship search etiquette. Use a professional email address. Set up your voicemail, have a professional voicemail message, and check your voicemail messages before returning any missed calls. Dress appropriately for an interview or any interaction with an employer or recruiter. Use professional salutations, and you should always refrain from cursing, using slang, referring to drugs or alcohol, making sexist, lewd, discriminatory comments or jokes.
Leaving a statement everywhere you go, from your emails to how you're dressed to how you speak with people to how you greet people, and being consistent across all platforms so everyone can have a similar enjoyable experience with the work and the personality that you bring to the table.
Social media, just make sure you don't have anything crazy on your social media, because people can check that, and you don't want to give that off as your first impression. Like you haven't even arrived at the place, and possibly they might have a different impression of you.
One piece of advice that I could offer to students who are beginning their internship search is to really be open-minded and to do your research very well. Just because there's so many different opportunities and you don't want to not take advantage of what's out there. So if you see something that you like, apply or ask questions, or even if you want to apply later on, it doesn't hurt to get in contact with those individuals just to get to know more about the organization that you're looking to go into.
The more informed and the more aware you are of what's happening in the industry, the better off you're going to be and the more prepared you're going to be to sell yourself to that industry.
What skill sets do you bring to the table? More about what's the attitude that you bring in. Because you can train skills, but it's kind of hard to work with the attitude.
You only get one first impression. Perception is reality, so whatever someone perceives of you, whatever you're giving off, that's what they know of you. Unless they know you, they work with you all the time, for a majority of the part, what they see is what they think they know.
For me, yes, while your skill set and what you put on your resume will definitely get you a phone call from me, at the end of the day, how you present yourself in that interview is what's going to sell me, like really make me go, okay, I need to make sure I get this person to the manager so the manager can bring them on.
An internship is essentially a long interview. You may not get a job offer with the company, but this is your opportunity to shine and show them what you're made of. So when you come to an internship, stay professional. Keep it completely professional among your peers, your leaders, any other associates that work for the company. Dress professionally.
The first place to go is career services. One of the things I probably didn't do enough of is tap into career services. I spent some time here, but there's a lot of things that students can learn to prepare for interviews and prepare for their first job or internship here in career services. So I recommend them taking advantage of those resources.
Students want the same jobs or internships as you, so you have to think what's going to separate you from someone else that wants the same opportunity. And that's all about your work experience. It's all about the contacts that you make through networking, and it's all about how you push yourself academically to be successful. And once you do all of those things, you'll be able to apply for that internship, you'll be successful in that internship, and then when you graduate, you'll be in a position that you feel is successful.
Internship etiquette. How to have a successful internship. Be on time. Practice good social skills. Be flexible and manage your own expectations. Practice good phone etiquette. Communicate with your supervisor. Be proactive in your role as a learner. Practice good email etiquette. Be respectful of the privacy of clients. Dress for success. Show gratitude and give thanks.
What sets the classwork apart from the internship experience is the ability to be in a workspace and work with other people in a professional setting, to understand what it means to have to show up on time, to work a full shift, to manage expectation, to work under deadlines, to actually understand how an office works and the interpersonal connections and communications that happen in that situation.
Having the humility to learn, but the tenacity to put in the work to learn, and not expecting just because I've been here for a month or two, I should get a promotion or a raise.
You know, you really have to jump in, make sure you're there on time. But the other piece of being there is mentally being there, right? You are going to be surrounded by people that are in the industry that have knowledge as to what it's going to be like to work there. And I think one of the pieces that we sometimes miss is tapping into those sources, you know? Don't be afraid to go up to a manager, a VP even, to go, hey, this is the kind of, you know, what I'm trying to do in my career. What advice would you give me? How did you get to be the VP here? Don't be afraid to ask those questions.
Taking advantage of everything you can, realizing that as you have the student card, that's really powerful for you. You can say, as a student, I don't really know about this. Can I set up an informational interview? Can I just learn a little bit more about your background? And from there, so many doors can open. You never know kind of who can have a job or another internship.
And it's really up to you what you want to make of that opportunity. If you just want it to be a job for the summer, then so be it. But if you really want it to be an opportunity or like a launch point for you, for your career, then you just need to get in there and really need to, again, look for networking opportunities, make sure that you're being heard. If there's team meetings, make sure you speak up, ask questions, be vocal.
The biggest thing is just jumping in, learning as much as possible, listening as much as possible, and always asking for more. I think one of the things is we always have work. There's always something that can be done. And if you just take the next push and kind of give everything that you can, really show what you can, meet as many people as possible.
Your relationship with your supervisor. So when you have positive relationship, you ask them questions and they will be willing to mentor you, to give you a lot of the knowledge that they have, to give you some guidance regarding your career path.
They're there to support you and help you, but you're there as an intern, you're trying to learn. So you just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be silent in a room. You want to know more.
Don't be afraid to share ideas. Sometimes you're going in as an intern and you're thinking, I'm just an intern here, I'm not going to make any suggestions, but you'd be surprised. Sometimes you suggest something that they didn't think of, and it's something that can be made into an idea and utilized within the company.
There's a lot of support. They just have to ask for it. The worst thing they could do is kind of put the blinders on, focus on just the work at hand and not engage the people around them with questions, because they won't grow as much that way and they won't get as much out of the internship. If you're assigned a certain task and you're doing really well with that, ask for some other things, because more than likely they'll be able to get involved in some things that will grow them even further if they just ask. You want to gain as much as you can while you're there. Each day you come in, it's important that you continue to grow, excel, and contribute in bigger and better ways to the company and to the people around you.
Stay engaged with your team members. You should never expect a job offer, but you should go into the internship and work the internship as if you are going to receive a job offer.
When you're taking initiatives, you're helping yourself to learn. Always ask questions, always volunteer to help. That way you help yourself to learn a great deal, and your mentors, they will see that. They will write a great evaluation for you. Either they offer jobs at the end of the internship, or they can recommend you to other agencies that you know. So there are a lot of benefits that come with relationships.
What to expect during an internship: experience work life, a workspace, direction, professional projects and network, feedback.
Many students don't realize that there are behaviors that when you go into the workplace will be unacceptable for an intern. We're going to review a couple of those right now because we want to make sure that you avoid these behaviors when you go to your internship site. It's really important that you make a professional impression from the very beginning. The unacceptable and unprofessional intern behaviors are reporting to an internship site under the influence of drugs and/or alcohol, using the internet or computer for any unauthorized activities, answering your cell phone or texting during work, tuning out the office by wearing earbuds, abusing your time and lunch breaks, which includes taking more time than you are designated, dressing or speaking inappropriately, having unrealistic expectations, getting involved with office gossip and drama. Breaking confidentiality is unacceptable in any work environment, especially as an intern. Make sure to not share any information about the organization, its clients, or any of its business without prior permission. This includes using documents or taking photographs of any of your work samples and using it for academic purposes. A final behavior that you want to make sure you do not do as an intern is making commitments you cannot keep. You want to always make sure that you contact your direct supervisor if you ever anticipate that you're going to be late or absent. Just not showing up is not an option. You also want to make sure that you never just stop attending your internship. Sometimes you find yourself in an opportunity that isn't what you thought it was going to be. If you're having a challenge at your internship site, make sure you talk to your supervisor or your department internship contact, or come into Career Services and we can help you figure out how to have the conversation with your internship site about improving your experience, or if you need to, ending your experience. If you need more information on any of the items discussed, make sure to come in for a Fast 15 walk-in.
What I've seen before is people graduate and they're just like, so yeah, I want to be the VP. It doesn't work like that. And I think setting that realistic expectation will be helpful for you so that, again, you don't give up and you don't get frustrated because it does take work. So we have to work from the bottom up sometimes.
If you can get a job, that's great, and obviously that's ideal for every candidate if it's a place that you want to go into, but take it more as a learning experience. Even if you don't even like the internship experience, showing up every single day with a smile, because you never know who's watching you and who might get you a job. So whatever you do, doing it with passion if you don't enjoy it, and trying to see the value in every single thing that you get.
How you behave as an intern is really important. Your behavior not only reflects on yourself, but you represent SDSU. And even though an internship may not be your dream internship, or it may not have gone exactly how you thought, it may be someone else's dream opportunity. And if you act in such a way that that employer no longer wants to recruit at SDSU, you're gonna take away someone else's opportunity. And so it's really important that if you are having an experience at an internship that isn't what you expected, that you come in and talk to someone at Career Services or your department internship contact, because your actions can influence whether or not an employer decides to recruit with SDSU in the future.
Have fun, go Aztecs.
Career Services has many internship resources to help you prepare to be the most marketable candidate you can for your internship search experience.
I went to Career Services first as a freshman, so I knew that it was a great resource on campus for students where you can get everything worked on from your resume to interview skills to reaching out to companies. I also utilized the career counselors who looked over my resume to make sure that I didn't have any errors and that I was framing all of the different responsibilities that I had in my previous roles correctly.
Have someone to look over their resume and then to make their resume look even better.
Build your resume right away. If you're a first-year student, this is a good opportunity to build a foundation for your second, third, and fourth years so you can start having base to stand on when you're going for the advanced internships. So start early and you won't regret it.
Career Services offers Fast 15, where you can literally just come in for 15 minutes and speak to a counselor, whether that's about looking at your resume or if you need help with job searches or internship searches, or if you just want to talk to them about your goals and what it is that you want to do in the future.
There's so many great workshops, career fairs, and other opportunities, and even the flyers that are available in the lobby can be really helpful to the students. So we're constantly trying to remind the students, you have this resource available to you, use it. It's free to use while you're here, and it's not a resource that a lot of students tap into.
Yes, I use Career Services. I remember going to the LinkedIn workshop.
Utilize their Aztec Career Connection website, where you can also find internships and job opportunities.
We post the positions that we have available to you all. Also, I think that they have some really great workshops that some of our managers here participate in, like Resumania. We did an info session, we've done tabling.
They also have different assessments. So for example, the strong interest inventory, where if you're not necessarily sure what career, what major you want to go into, you can always go in there and take that assessment. And it doesn't only reflect what career you would best fit into, but it also analyzes your personality, which is a really useful tool, just so that you can see kind of where you best would fit into a career.
Definitely visit the career fairs. There are a ton of different companies who visit us to find students here. All of the companies will be listed on the website.
Career Services offers about 3 to 4 career fairs per semester. All students can attend the career fairs. Even if you're a freshman, it's recommended that you attend just so that you can see what's out there and practice those networking skills with the different employers who actually attend those career fairs. The first career fair of each semester is specific to careers and internships.
Interviewing is a vital part of the internship and job search process. In order to improve your skills, we recommend that you practice. Career Services offers 2 ways to do this. One, you can schedule a mock interview with a career counselor by contacting Career Services directly, or you can use our online interview resource.
Big Interview, which is a video interview practice site. It's available only through SDSU Career Connection, free of charge to our students.
Another service that they offer is also Workability for, which is where if you have any type of disability, whether it's visible or invisible, you can go in there and get the assistance that you need in terms of, anything career services related.
Don't be afraid to utilize the resources. I underused them and I wish I would have looking back. So don't be me and wish that you would have done something differently. Just do it.
Please make sure to visit us, because if you don't come see us, we can't help you out. We're located in Student Services East 1200, and we can be reached at 619-594-6851. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, and we have walk-in hours Monday through Thursday, 1 to 2:45, and Fridays 10 to 11:45. Check out the Career Services workshop and events calendar by going to our homepage at career.sdsu.edu. Make sure to stay connected with us. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, like us on Facebook, and connect with us on LinkedIn.
To share, good luck on your internship search. This is the scariest but fun part, and when you get that first internship, make sure you knock it out of the park. And if you watching this video, you're already taking the first start, so good luck.